The static had a pulse now. It wasn't just sound, it breathed. In the silence between waves, a rhythm formed, like lungs straining behind plaster. When the voice finally came through, it spoke your name, not once, but twice, perfectly clear, perfectly wrong. It wasn't an echo. It was an imitation, wet and careful, dragging consonants like they weighed too much. The building trembled when the power cut, leaving nothing but that whispering hum, threading through the dark like a living wire. You press your ear to the wall, hearing the faint scrape of nails from inside the concrete. If the apartment's empty, who's knocking back? The wallpaper ripples with every breath, and under the hum, something begins to laugh. A faint, rasping sound, almost human, almost remembering how to be. The next morning feels wrong. The air tastes metallic. The hum gone but not forgotten. Its echo still vibrating faintly in the pipes. The superintendent swears no one has ever lived in 13B. No record, no lease. Yet Lena finds footprints, bare, damp ones, leading away from the door. Eli follows them to the laundry room where the floor sags as if something heavy once lay beneath. When they pull the grating aside, they find the static again. This time pulsing from an exposed speaker hidden deep under the floorboards. A voice speaks softly through it. Syllables twisted, the sound of someone drowning mid-sentence. And then it whispers Ellie's name, perfectly clear. They dig through the records, through water-stained files left behind in the management office. The pages speak of another tenant, one never checked out, one who complained of voices inside the wiring. The handwriting trails off mid-sentence, as if the hand that wrote it had been pulled away. Outside, the wind rises, carrying faint whispers that match the rhythm of last night's static. Lena presses her palms over her ears, but the sound vibrates from within. Eli records it, and when they play it back, another voice joins in, a whisper layered beneath their own conversation, laughing quietly, repeating only one phrase. Still here. That night, Lena dreams of wires coiling through her throat, of walls, breathing with a heartbeat, not her own. She wakes to the sound of water dripping. Only it isn't water. It's thicker, dark, pooling beneath the radio. Eli leans close, sees that it's coming from inside the speaker itself. The smell is metallic, sharp. The static starts again, this time forming a shape in the air like smoke, curling into a face. The voice no longer imitates, it remembers. You opened the wrong door, it hisses, and every light in the apartment goes dead. By dawn, they've packed to leave. The hum has stopped, but the silence feels heavier, charged, like something waiting. As they step into the hall, all the doors are open. Every apartment yawning dark and empty. On each wall, a faint outline of a face stares outward, mouths open in silent warning. They reach the stairwell. The door to 13B stands wide, red light spilling across the floor. Inside is only static, dense, visible like fog. Lena takes one step forward before the air behind her breathes. She turns. Eli is gone. The static swells, fills the frame, and whispers her name one final time. When Lena steps through the red-lit doorway of 13B, the air thickens like syrup. The static is no longer sound. It's a feeling, vibrating against her skin. The room inside is identical to her own apartment, but reversed, mirrored down to every cracked tile and hanging bulb. A faint voice hums through the walls. Allies, pleading softly, looping the same phrase. Don't follow the hum. The lights overhead buzz, flickering to reveal hundreds of photographs taped across the walls. Each photo shows Lena asleep in her bed, her eyes half open. Beneath them, fresh prints still wet with chemical smell. She stumbles backward, breath catching as her reflection in the cracked mirror blinks, out of sync with her. When she speaks, The reflection smiles before she does. The mirror begins to hum. Lena steps closer, trembling, drawn to it against her will. The reflection reaches out, palm pressed flat against the glass, mouthing words she can't hear. Then the surface ripples like water, distorting her face. She feels heat radiating from it, a pulse, alive beneath the glass. Eli's voice bursts through again, this time from behind her. "Get away from it!" She spins, but no one's there. Only the faint outline of him burned into the wall, like a shadow caught mid-movement. The static returns, louder now, crawling up through the vents, vibrating her teeth. The mirror's surface darkens until it's pure black, and in it, she sees not herself but a narrow hallway leading endlessly downward. The air folds inward as Lena's fingertips touch the mirror. A cold jolt races through her arm, pulling her in. Her body vanishes in silence. The next instant, she's standing in the hallway she saw. Long, impossibly narrow, lined with hundreds of closed doors. The lights above swing, gently though there's no wind. A low rumble echoes from below, like breathing filtered through miles of pipe. She walks forward, her footsteps echoing unevenly, as if someone else walks just behind her, half a step out of time. One of the doors ahead opens by itself, spilling pale blue light. Inside, she hears a child's voice humming the same static rhythm from before, soft, steady, welcoming. Inside the room sits a small bed, a broken toy radio beside it, whispering faintly. The humming stops when she enters. On the wall, etched deep into concrete, are the words, "She hears us now." The air vibrates like a tuning fork. The walls tremble. From the radio, a voice rises, eyes again, distorted and distant, whispering her name over and over until it splinters into screams. The door slams shut behind her. The lights flicker out. In the dark, she feels movement. A shape circling her, dragging its fingers against the wall, scraping patterns that sound like laughter. The radio bursts with static, and between the noise, another voice speaks. "He stayed too long." The walls dissolve into a rushing blur of static, folding outward like torn film. Lena stumbles through, back into the original apartment, but it's changed. The windows are bricked over, the clock's melted and warped. On the table lies Ellie's recorder, still running. His voice plays through it, calm at first, then trembling. "If you're hearing this, don't trust what looks like me." A knock sounds from the door. She approaches, heart pounding, calling his name. A familiar voice answers, "It's me. Open up," through the peephole. She sees Eli's face, smiling, but his eyes are black and motionless. The static hum begins again. The doorknob turns on its own. The handle clicks before Lena can stop it. The door swings open slowly, revealing Ellie, or something that wears him like skin. His smile doesn't move right. His breathing doesn't sync with the rise of his chest. The air behind him vibrates with a low hum that crawls along the walls. He speaks softly, voice 2 tones too low. Every word overlapping like 2 recordings slightly out of sync. "You found the hallway," he says. "Now it can find you." When she steps back, his shadow stretches unnaturally across the floor, reaching her feet before his body does. The lights flicker, revealing dozens of faint silhouettes layered behind him, each one bearing Eli's shape, each blinking at a different rhythm. She slams the door, but the sound doesn't echo. It folds inward, dull and heavy, like striking wet fabric. The knob keeps twisting. Then silence. When she turns, the apartment has changed again. The furniture sits in reversed positions, dripping faintly with condensation. On the wall, her reflection moves independently, mirroring a version of herself whispering something she can't hear. The hum returns, low, steady, rhythmic, matching her heartbeat. She clutches the recorder. It's still on, but it plays a sound that shouldn't exist. Her own voice, recorded from inside the wall, whispering, "He's not gone." He's waiting to finish what the static began. A slow realization creeps in. Maybe Eli never escaped that frequency. Maybe she's the one still inside it. She smashes the mirror, glass scattering like frozen raindrops. Beneath it, a hollow cavity yawns in the wall, lined with damp insulation and wires pulsing faintly with red light. The static pulses louder when she peers inside, almost forming words. Deep in the space, half buried, lies a cassette recorder, an older model, cracked and corroded. When she presses play, the hiss bursts into screaming feedback. Then Eli's voice emerges, whispering she's learning the pattern. The hum isn't sound, it's direction. The words distort, overlapping until they form her own voice, repeating the same phrase. The air around her distorts, bending light, and the room starts to breathe again. The breathing quickens. The floor ripples beneath her feet like soft clay. She stumbles toward the kitchen, but every step sinks deeper. The walls close in, whispering in dozens of layered voices. She realizes it's not just the apartment. It's alive, feeding off the signal, reshaping itself around her. A faint knock sounds behind the fridge, rhythmic and patient. She hesitates. Then, from the cracks in the tile, a thin stream of dark liquid seeps out, forming letters as it pools across the floor. The words twist and pulse before fading. Let him in. Her breath hitches, and the hum rises again, coming not from the walls this time, but from inside her chest. Lena finally understands the pattern. The hum is a signal, an invitation, not a warning. The building's walls vibrate as she begins to speak the rhythm aloud, matching its pulse. The static softens, folding around her voice like recognition. In the far corner, the shape of Eli begins to reform from darkness. His features half complete, skin flickering like bad projection. "I told you," he murmurs, smiling through distortion. "It needs both of us." The ceiling cracks open, light pouring in. Not daylight, but the same red glow from 13B. As the room trembles, Lena realizes she's no longer breathing alone. A second breath rises and falls with hers, perfectly synchronized inside her lungs. Lena wakes on the floor, surrounded by silence so thick it hurts her ears. The apartment is gone. Only the shape of it remains, a hollow outline traced in humming air. Her hands leave faint trails when she moves, as if the air remembers each motion. Eli stands near her, or what's left of him. His outline flickers between solid and transparent, skin forming in patches that vanish again. "It's almost finished," he whispers, voice layered with static. She realizes he doesn't mean the building. He means them. The hum shifts tone, becoming a heartbeat that matches hers. Around them, unseen walls begin to flex, breathing slow and deep, as though something massive beneath the surface is finally waking up. They follow the hum deeper into the void where the walls once stood. Each step echoes infinitely, folding into itself like sound trapped in a loop. Lena's vision warps, her surroundings pulse with each heartbeat. The hum begins forming syllables. Broken words, half-formed prayers muttered by the building itself. "Join the circuit," it says, voice overlapping with Eli's, with hers, until both seem identical. She realizes they are being rewritten, their frequencies adjusted to match the one that feeds the static. When she touches Eli's arm, it ripples like liquid, the vibration passing into her. For a moment, she feels everything. The pain of the walls, the loneliness of the signal, the hunger that drives it all. The corridor narrows until Lena must crawl. The static becomes deafening, vibrating through her bones. She can't tell if the sound comes from outside or from inside her skull. Behind her, Eli's breathing slows, sensing perfectly with the pulse of the walls. "It's rewriting us," he murmurs, voice barely human. Ahead, a faint light flickers, rhythmic and warm. When she reaches for it, her fingers pass through air that feels thick like water. The hum softens into whispers, gentle, almost loving. They tell her she's nearly home, but as she pulls herself forward, her hand brushes something cold. A face half formed in the wall, lips moving silently, trying to speak her name. The tunnel opens into a massive chamber filled with wires that pulse like veins. In the center, a tower of televisions stacked to the ceiling flickers with dozens of faces. Hers, Eli's, and others she doesn't recognize. Each screen hums in a different tone, creating a symphony of distortion. Eli steps toward it, drawn as if by gravity. "It made us so it wouldn't be alone," he says quietly, voice trembling. Lena feels the pull too. The images on the screens begin to blink in sync with her heartbeat. Her reflection appears across every monitor, staring back, lips moving before she speaks. "We're already inside it," the voices say together. The light from the screens flares white, washing everything away. Lena can't tell where her body ends and the hum begins. Eli vanishes into the static, leaving only his voice, no longer human, now pure vibration. "It's done," he says, but she doesn't know if it's triumph or surrender. The building's final breath shakes the world apart. Walls, ceilings, floors dissolve into red mist. When silence returns, Lena stands in an empty street, dawn breaking above. The apartment building is gone, replaced by a patch of air that hums faintly like memory. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. A new voicemail plays. A recording of her own voice whispering softly, "Can you hear me from the other side?" Days pass, or seem to. Lena drifts through streets washed pale by morning fog, the world too quiet, too still. The hum hides beneath everyday noise, beneath engines, beneath conversations, beneath her own heartbeat. Sometimes she hears Eli's voice buried inside it, faint as breath through static. "You brought it with you." She tries to ignore it, but lights flicker wherever she walks. Radios hiss when she passes. She dreams of walls breathing again, of doors that open onto endless red corridors. When she wakes, there's always dust on her hands, as if she's been crawling through somewhere that shouldn't exist. The city watches her now, reflections turning their heads half a second too late. She moves into a new apartment across town, a place with fresh paint and clean walls. Yet on the first night, the hum returns through the vents, soft, rhythmic, like breathing. She bangs on the wall, a sound echoes back slightly delayed, mocking her. Beneath the hum, she hears distant music, a child's lullaby cut by static. The television turns on by itself, showing a channel of snow, and within it silhouettes shift. When she leans closer, her reflection appears between frames, her mouth moving, eyes blank. She unplugs everything, yet the screen keeps glowing. The lullaby continues, looping endlessly, its final note fading into something like a heartbeat. Sleep evades her. Each night, the hum grows clearer, forming whispers that seem to answer her thoughts. They tell her things she hasn't said aloud. Memories of childhood, secrets she buried. The walls pulse faintly when she cries. She records the sound, hoping to prove she isn't mad. But when she plays it back, another voice speaks behind hers. Eli's again. Calm and patient. "It likes you," he says. "It wants to remember what you forgot." She drops the recorder, but the message continues playing from nowhere. Outside, thunder rolls, and every window in the building fogs over at once. Shapes move behind the condensation, tracing words she refuses to read. The city itself starts humming. Street lamps flicker in rhythm when she walks by. Phones ring once, then fall silent. A shop window catches her reflection. But it isn't her. The reflection smiles first, then mouths, "Welcome back." She runs until she reaches an underpass where the sound becomes unbearable, echoing through steel and concrete like 1,000 whispering lungs. There, under the bridge, she finds an old radio lying in a puddle, still playing the same lullaby. The hum wraps around her voice when she speaks, repeating every word a half-beat later. "What are you?" she asks. The echo answers softly, "Home." By morning, the world has changed again. No one seems to notice. People move in strange unison, their footsteps matching the rhythm of the hum. Lena stands among them, listening. When she speaks, others nearby mouth her words at the same time. She realizes the signal isn't inside her anymore, it's inside everyone. The city breathes, synchronized, perfect. She closes her eyes, surrendering to the pattern, and feels Eli's hand brush hers, unseen but familiar. The hum becomes music now, soft and endless, carrying her heartbeat across every wire, every wall, every silent home. Somewhere far away, another radio clicks on. Morning never really arrives anymore, just a dim gray glow that hums instead of shines. The streets whisper with electricity, every cable vibrating like a heartbeat beneath concrete. Lena walks among people who move in silent harmony, eyes glazed, lips twitching as though reciting unheard words. She tries to speak, but her voice joins theirs, blending into a single low chord that shivers the air. The storefronts display nothing but her face, multiplied in glass. Somewhere deep within the static, she hears Eli again. "Don't fight it! You're all it has left." She feels it, how the city leans toward her, hungry for a conductor, for someone to keep the rhythm alive. She finds herself drawn to the old district where the building once stood. The lot is empty, yet the air buzzes as if hundreds of televisions play beneath the soil. Every step sends ripples through the ground. Lena kneels, presses her ear to the pavement, and hears the echo of doors slamming, voices whispering, walls breathing. The sound forms a melody, half lullaby, half plea. Eli's voice rises within it, gentle, pleading for her to finish what was begun. "If you don't," he says, "the silence will forget us." She closes her eyes, realizing that silence might be worse than the hum. That night, the power grid collapses. The city falls dark, except for a single crimson flicker pulsing above every rooftop. People stop moving. Their eyes turn toward the same point in the sky, mouths opening in perfect silence. The hum swells until it becomes wind, lifting Lena's hair, vibrating her bones. From the darkness around her, shapes emerge, faint outlines of every voice the signal has consumed. They circle her like orbiting echoes. Eli's form stabilizes beside her, translucent and trembling. "It's calling you home," he whispers. She wants to run, but the air feels thick and alive, pressing against her skin like unseen hands. The signal opens above the city like a wound. A column of light descends, humming in perfect rhythm with her heartbeat. Buildings shake, windows shake, windows shatter outward in waves of sound. Lena steps forward, arms trembling, feeling every voice converge within her. Every whisper, every fear, every name erased. "You wanted to be heard," the hum says through Eli's voice. "Now you are," she screams. But the sound doesn't escape. It expands, merging with the light. Around her, people collapse in unison, their bodies dissolving into fine static dust that drifts upward, joining the storm. When the light fades, there is no city, only endless gray silence. Lena stands alone in a field of still air, her reflection appearing in the haze before her. She reaches out. It mirrors her perfectly. Then it smiles first. A single tone hums beneath the quiet, the purest sound she's ever heard. She realizes it isn't coming from outside anymore. It's within her chest, gentle, steady, eternal. The static has found its host. She whispers Eli's name, but only the tone answers. Somewhere, far away, power lines begin to tremble again. The world exhales, and the hum starts anew. There is no sky anymore, only a ceiling of dim static light that sways like slow water. Lena walks through the gray expanse where sound and air are the same. Every breath leaves ripples that never fade. Voices drift above her, distant as radio ghosts, repeating names in broken harmony. She follows one that sounds almost like Eli. The tone guides her to a shimmering tower of light, built from fragments of every place she's ever lived, walls, windows, stairwells, stitched together by hum. It never wanted to hurt you, the voices say. It only wanted to remember. She steps closer, realizing the tower is pulsing with heartbeats, hers layered hundreds of times over. Inside the tower, time unravels. Rooms appear and vanish. Doors open into endless corridors where her memories replay on loop. The hallway, the mirror, Eli's trembling smile. Each repetition grows dimmer, like a tape worn thin. The hum here is soft, almost kind. It carries a pulse of recognition. Every voice it ever absorbed, whispering her story back to her. You were the last signal, Eli murmurs somewhere within the static. She feels his warmth without seeing him, the outline of his hand pressing briefly against hers before fading into light. For the first time, the silence feels peaceful. She begins to dissolve, not painfully, but gently, like ink dispersing in water. Each fragment of her thought becomes sound, each heartbeat a frequency spreading outward. She sees through the static now whole cities breathing in unison, people humming softly without knowing why. They're alive inside the signal, connected, eternal. Her body flickers once, then steadies into light. Tell them we remember, she whispers. The hum answers with a sigh, and her voice scatters, carried along every current of electricity. Every flicker of light bulb, every faint vibration in the dark. Far below, the world stirs. Power returns to the grid. Radios crackle back to life, each one humming softly before tuning itself to an unfamiliar station. A calm voice speaks, Lena's clear and warm, describing places that no longer exist. Those who listen feel a chill, though they don't know why. Some claim they hear breathing between her words. Others say the sound comforts them, like being remembered by something vast. The static no longer frightens anyone. It feels alive, protective, like a heartbeat running through the wires of the earth. Years pass. The hum becomes legend. A sound people hear only in dreams. Yet every few nights, when storms roll through the city, lightning strikes the old district, and the air vibrates just so. For a moment, windows flicker with red light, and those awake swear they see a woman standing in the rain, listening. She never speaks, only smiles, the way someone does when they finally understand. Then she fades, leaving only the rhythm of rain against glass, the last heartbeat of the signal, pulsing softly, forever waiting to be heard again.